This week I learned, or rather I remembered, that sometimes you need a vacation from your vacation. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back with another weekly update as we've begun the month of May here. So some good times ahead, I think, on the channel here, and some good times we just had on the channel. We're going to kind of talk about all of those here. And we're again, like usual, guys, talking about what am I reading. I did finish The Way of Edan by Mr. Philip Chase. You might have heard of him, Dr. Philip Chase. He didn't go to evil doctor school to be called a Mister. Look, I think that this book, people are going to find this comparison a little unusual, probably, because obviously it's going to be high accolades, because I'm going to be talking about Ken Follett, and I'm going to be talking about Pillars of the Earth. What this kind of made me feel like is if Pillars of the Earth wasn't set in, historical times of planet Earth here, but it really kind of reminded me of that in that, it's about the clergy and them not really having the best intentions of everyone besides themselves at heart. So it kind of like add like a little bit of magic to the clergy in Pillars of the Earth. That's kind of how I got the feeling out of reading this book. It very much felt like a historical fiction kind of book, like this was a real history. It just means that Philip was writing his world very good. And I loved a lot of the background and stuff that he gives for some of the history of the lands when they're kind of, some of the characters are just, they're traveling, they're able to tell these kind of stories and things like that. So it worked really well. I was rather surprised that what I thought was going to be the quest early on this book didn't really happen. And I remember, well, this is part 1 of 3. He does have 3 books coming out this year. And so I think that was actually rather surprising to me, whereas like I thought that for sure there was 2 big key elements that I thought were going to happen in this book. They did not. So I think Philip is obviously playing the long game here. And I am here for it. So thank you, Philip, for sending me this copy of the book. I did enjoy it, and I hope to talk to you about it soon a little bit more. Then, guys, I started my Red Rising reread a little later than usual. I think this is going to be the first time that I don't finish the book before everyone else on this reread, because we were on vacation, guys, and there wasn't a lot of reading going on vacation. You would think, hey, lots of downtime, right? Not when you've got your kids and not when you're at a 24-hour water park. So that kind of took a lot of my free time away on that trip. But I just started it. I'm not that far into it, not even like 60 pages into it. And if you know anything about Dark Age, it's quite a trek. It is quite a journey through that crazy dark world that Pierce Brown has created. But again, this is the one that I was the most excited to reread this time because there's just so much that happens in it. And when I was talking to Ben and Aaron from Howlerpod, they were talking about some things after we went off the air one night, and I was like, I don't even remember that because I read Dark Age just so damn fast. So very much excited about this reread, and of course, knowing that once I finish this, the next Red Rising book I start will be a new one here in July. Hopefully a little earlier if I can get approved for that review copy. Didn't get very far in Lost Hero, Rick Riordan, guys. So I didn't even take it with us on vacation. Kids were like, you know how kids are when you go take them to a water park, and at the end of the night, they're like, I'm not tired, and they sit down for like 5 seconds, and boom, they're out. I knew if I tried to read to him there, he was going to be just unconscious. So I didn't even bring it with us on the trip. I only read it just a little bit last night to him. So we're about halfway through it, and we are having a good time with it, but no real progress there, guys. It takes me to what am I going to read? Well, obviously keep working on those 2. Rick Riordan, working on Dark Age. I would imagine Dark Age is going to take me the whole week, guys. This is a 750-page book. I imagine that's probably going to be everything that I work on for this week. I really don't have much else planned. I mean, later in the month, I'm hoping to be able to get to this, Lonesome Dove, which is just as long. So, guys, my month is pretty much spoken for here between Pierce Brown and Larry McMurtry. There are other things I'd like to get in there, but those are my 2 primaries. I did get actual review copy of the new James Islington book, and I'm like, well, I've got like 3 chonkers ahead of it in the schedule now. So it's actually, thank you, but I actually had counted on not getting that one. So I adjusted my schedule accordingly, and that's how it falls sometimes. That's going to happen. But I'm looking forward to both Dark Age and Lonesome Dove. My wife, I told you we were going to be reading this together. She already started before me, so I've still got to make it through Dark Age before I can do a Lonesome Dove. But she did say she's going to be taking her time with it because it is getting close to. She's a teacher, and this is getting close to the end of the school year where things get really, really hectic for them, and testing and finals and all that stuff. So hopefully I'll be able to catch up with her. But hey, like I always say, it's not a race, right? Just like to get to it, sooner rather than later, because my wife can just blow through a book really, really quick when she says she's going to take her time with it, and she'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm done." Yeah, so that happens. But hey, these things happen when you plan on doing a buddy read. One person always seems to go through it a little quicker than you. How about this week on the channel, guys? I did do one before I was able to leave on vacation. That came in on Monday. That was my favorite book trilogies, which just went over really, really well. That was a video I wasn't sure how people were going to react to it. It was one that I felt like a lot of people had asked for, but I get that a lot, where I'll have a video that people are asking for, and then I do it, and no one's really that interested in it. So this is one that did get a lot of feedback. A lot of people were happy with the picks and were accepting of the kind of the way I bent the rules a little bit. There were some people who were kind of folded their arms, like, you can't count that as a trilogy when it's part of a series or whatever. And I'm like, look, you can't sit here and say I can count these individual Robin Hobb trilogies, but I can't count the Red Rising trilogy. I don't know. You can't count Mistborn Era 1, I mean, there's Era 2, but you can count Mistborn as a trilogy. It's a fine line, but again, it's my list, my rules. If you want to do it a different way, hey, I always encourage you to make up your own rules and things like that. But I had a great time talking about that, because it made me realize how many book series I read that are either 4 books, or they're a duology, or they're 5+ books, So the fact that there is just so few trilogies. There were a couple that I wish I'd put on there that I forgot about. Nevernight Chronicle by Jay Kristoff was one. The Lycanius trilogy by James Islington's another that I left off. So that's when you do one of these things just kind of off the top of your head, you're going to miss a couple here and there. But I also said with some of those is that legacy takes time, because there are some rather newer ones I had on there that I'm saying, hey, they might eventually move up higher, but legacy takes time for me. And that's why, if you look at my top 10 fantasy series of all time list, between the one I did in 2020 and the one I did in 2022, it changed a lot, because I said, these things do take time. So with book trilogies, I had a great time talking about it, and I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it as well. I did some Dune stuff when I got back. So I joked with Christopher Rocchio that we were going to be talking about the Dune trailer whenever it dropped, the Dune Part 2 trailer, and of course it would happen while I was on vacation. Well, it did. It did actually happen. It dropped the morning that we were driving back. So in the car, I see it's everywhere on social media, and I'm like, I promised people that I would save my reaction for when I could record it, and I did do that. And Warner Brothers was very, very difficult about it. They would not let me monetize said video. So I said, that's fine. I'll do this one for free. No big deal. I think it's wild that Warner Brothers doesn't want to let anyone get people amped up for their stuff. But again, that's neither here nor there. I understand things are, protected through copyright. I'm fine with that. So I don't do very many reaction videos. But with Dune Part 1, everyone asked me to do that, so I did it. And it brought a lot of new eyes to the channel, and I'm always going to be thankful for that. So I said this again. People really wanted me to do this, so that's why I did it. And then that wasn't enough, though. That wasn't enough. Me and Christopher, we did say we were going to talk about the trailer and break it down, give our thoughts on it. So if you want to hear me and a sci-fi powerhouse like Christopher Rocchio, the author of the Sun Eater saga, you want to hear us talk for 90 minutes about a 2-minute trailer? I got good news for you guys. That video is on the channel now, and you can listen to our thoughts there. We do our best to answer some of the viewer questions and stuff while we were doing that live. But a big thing with that was we were already, we were already at the 45-minute mark, and we were only on the third picture. I was like, okay, we got to speed this up a little bit. But I think that Christopher and I could talk about Dune for days. So I'm glad that he was actually able to make the time. Check out Christopher's channel if you haven't yet to get that, hopefully get that Diamond Edition of Empire of Silence, guys, because it's going to be a beaut. I hope you are able to get one. And then, of course, my April 2023 wrap-up and my book of the month. As I always say, if you guys watch these weekly updates, I don't think that the book of the month is going to be any real surprise to you, because I think I tip my hand quite frequently on these things. But if you don't watch every single weekly update, you might not know. But the book of the month, hey, what was it? Watch that video and you'll find out. But it was one I felt very, very good about it, and I'm very excited to continue with that series here very, very soon. How about some next week plans, guys? I got a couple of things in the queue. I meant to do that Last War trilogy review this week, but the Dune stuff just kind of cut in line. That's going to happen. Dune's going to cut in line just about every single time with me because I love it. Dune's awesome. But the Last War trilogy was also awesome. I'm going to talk about why as I review that trilogy as a whole and tell you why you should be picking up Mike Shackle's series if you like certain things in your fantasy. So that's what it's going to come down to, because I'm going to talk about everything that goes into it, what might work, what might not work for you, but what did work for me, of course, and why I think maybe you should go ahead and give it a shot. We do have our spoiler talk for Iron Gold lined up. That's book 4 in the Red Rising saga. That's the first of the sequel series. I'm going to be talking with Ben and Eric from HowlPod again as we talk about all the goodness in that. And honestly, why we think you're a pixie if you're not reading the Red Rising sequel. So we're going to talk about that in great depth. And again, I just got to thank Ben and Aaron in advance so much for giving me so much of their time to talk about this series in the lead up to Lightbringer this summer. And I'll be doing my book haul for April. I think that I try to get those out earlier now, just because it feels weird to do a book haul for the previous month when you're halfway through the new month. So I'm going to try to get that one up. You guys sent me lots of awesome things this past month, and I love to show those things off to people who like to see them. But that's really all I've got on the docket. I'm sure some other things might actually pop back up. I am going to try to start picking up my content a little faster again. I know I did kind of fall off there last month as I was struggling stomach bug and taxes and the NFL draft stuff that I was covering a lot. So I think that I did get a bit distracted in April. I'm going to try to pick it up a little bit in May here and try to get back to my usual schedule. I hope you guys will be more accepting of that there. How about some TV and movie talk before I go, guys? We did watch Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves last night as a family, and all of us loved it. All of us loved it. I will just say there's a scene with let's just say an overweight dragon that had my kids on the floor, dying, laughing. It was so fun, guys. I can't believe how enjoyable this was, but not in like a turn your brain off. You got to do that a little bit, I think, with fantasy anyway. But here's the thing, I'm not a huge D&D player. I feel like I knew a lot in this movie just off of reading R.A. Salvatore's Forgotten Realms Drizzt books. I felt like I noticed a lot more, like they do go to the Underdark in there and things like that. You do see Icewind Dale. So there's fun things like that if you've read the books or if you played the games. I'm sure there's lots and lots of Easter eggs, a lot of the creatures and species and things that it showed. I'm sure that Dungeons and Dragons players were going crazy for it. But the thing was, like, this cast was brilliant. They all were so good together, and I won't lie, there was a scene towards the end, I actually almost teared up a little bit. It was really well done. The movie had a ton of heart. It is very MCU, guys. If you like the MCU formula, it's pretty much there. I found all these characters likable, but the villain was very MCU villain-like. That would be one thing I'd be kind of like, it is what it is. But the story at its central core was about this group of thieves that really are working together, and every single one of them have a individual character arc in the movie. It's just really good writing, and I was just kind of blown away by how likable the entire cast was. Usually something like that, you got an ensemble cast, but that one character was whatever. I liked them all. I thought they all played off each other well. The laughs landed every time. The humor was great. And Chris Pine, what a treasure that guy is. He's just so good. I mean, just about any role he's in, I think I have liked. So, check it out, guys, if you haven't. It's a great family movie. It's just great if you're a fantasy nerd. I think you'll have a great time with it. Doesn't matter if you played a lick of D&D or know a single thing about it. If you like fantasy, you're going to have a great time with it. Hell, I'd argue if you don't like fantasy, you still might enjoy it because it's such a fun movie. So again, if you've liked like the MCU brand, I think when the MCU was really good, I think that you would have a great time with this because it was a lot of fun. And we watched it on Amazon Video on Demand last night, and I think it's already had people asking, is it on streaming? No, you still have to pay for it, but it's video on demand. You can watch it in the comfort of your living room like we did. I don't have too much to say about it because I know there's a lot of people that are really sensitive about the writer's strike that's going on in Hollywood right now. A lot of people comparing this to 2007. This will probably upset some people. I don't think this is like 2007. For me, in 2007, I felt like TV was in like a new golden age. There was so much incredible writing on television. Right now, I'm like, I think the reason I freak out when there's a show that has really fresh, unique, and just terrific writing is because there's so few of them now. So, I mean, I've constantly made the joke that I feel like a lot of these shows are being written by an AI now. Who knows? Right now, they might be being written by an AI, and can they be worse? So, I think I'm thinking like, look, I want people to get paid. I do. I'm like, I'm Joker. You guys, if you're good at something, always get paid for it. And I think that these writers deserve a pay raise. Hey, good for you for taking a stand. That's where I stand with it. What I'm talking about is just like in the quality levels. This is not like 2007 to me, because I don't feel like the standards of TV and movies right now are at the same level that they were in 2007. That might be me being grumpy old man shakes fist at cloud, that kind of thing. I'll admit that. It might be it. But I'm just saying that right now, I'm not as upset about it as I was in 2007 when it was killing several of my favorite shows. I remember Battlestar Galactica had to speed up their ending because of that writer's strike. But thankfully, Ronald D. Moore was a good enough writer that he was able to recover there in that final season when it did return. But House of the Dragon Season 2 has already been written, so they're going to film what has already been written. They can't do rewrites, but I feel pretty good about that. Other shows, though, I don't know what's going to happen. You know, Succession's already about to go off the air. It's like, to me right now, as long as House of the Dragon and Succession are protected, I'm happy. You know, I'm happy. So hopefully they can work it out. And again, I know it might be a hot take, me saying that it's not like 2007. To me, it's not. I'm not as upset about it as I was in 2007. You guys remember how awesome Heroes was? And then it got destroyed because of bad writers, because they had replacement writers. Right now, I don't feel like, can replacement writers be that much worse? But again, I say that as just a casual observer, just someone who is taking this in as entertainment, not looking at it from a business standpoint. As a business standpoint, I say, take a stand, get the money that you're owed. I'm all for that. So I hope people will understand. It probably does sound like I'm hedging a little bit. Maybe I am. But that's just my take on it. Do got some gaming talk before I go, guys. I finally got to play Hogwarts Legacy. Now, it didn't come out. We don't have next gen. We didn't get a PS5 or whatever the new Xbox, A, B, C, D, E, whatever they call the Xbox. I can't keep the names of those systems straight anymore. We didn't upgrade because we didn't feel like it was necessary. We felt like all the games that we wanted to play were still coming out on PS4, still coming back out on Xbox One. So it was like, when I feel like there's a game that makes me want to go pay $600 for one of those consoles, I'll do it. That game hasn't happened yet, you know, and so we just said, I'll get Hogwarts Legacy when it comes out on one of those consoles, and that's what we did. So it finally came out last night, or yesterday. We played it last night for a good long while. I don't even want to admit how long we played it for, but getting to share that with my kids and my wife. We're all big HP fans in the house, so we played it quite a bit last night. Decided to just share one character, because if not, we were like, if you make your own character and you make your own character, none of us are ever going to get to play. And guys, we've only got a week before Zelda comes out, and it's going to get benched when Zelda comes out. So we said we're just going to kind of share a character. In our second playthrough, maybe we'll do like a little bit of a individuality with it. But it's very cool, guys. It's very cool. I'm not seeing any performance issues. I know there's a lot of people that are on the socials saying, oh, this is the reason why you should have got the next gen, because of all these performance issues. Maybe I'm not as picky as you. I'm a PC gamer, so I would notice frame rate issues. There's no frame rate issues, so I'm happy. I haven't had any problems yet, but I'm not saying that they don't exist. I'm just saying I haven't read any yet. But the game is phenomenal. It's so cool. It's like, to me, just getting to explore that world that she created is just so much fun. To me, it's like, if the campaign, the actual storyline, if it's actually good, that's just a bonus. I just want to play in this sandbox, and it has made that dream come true. So it's a lot of fun, guys. I hope you are checking it out if you haven't. If you had to wait like me, I hope maybe you're picking it up now and getting to play it. I saw it trending on social media all day yesterday, so I'm not the only one. I am not the only one that had to wait until this point. So I'm having a great time with it. I can't wait to dive into it more and just try to. I can't wait to hopefully let's start dueling people and just busting some asses. I can't wait. It's gonna be so much fun, guys. I want to learn some more of these spells outside of the ones that I feel like everyone knows from the movies and the books. Learning some more, and my wife was messing around with the herbology a lot, and I was like, okay, Neville. So we're having a great time. It's a great family game, and I think that everyone of all ages can enjoy it if you are into that universe at all. And guys, that was my week. So a very, very busy week. It's weird to feel this busy when you're on vacation. I do go back to work on Monday, and that's going to be wow, But hey, all good things must come to pass, right? So drop in the comments, guys. Let me know about your week, what you're watching, what you read, what you listen to, what you are playing. There are no wrong answers, and have yourselves an awesome rest of the weekend.